Around the world, many unusually large skeletons dating back to ancient times have been discovered. This could be evidence for the existence of a race of giants in antiquity. Throughout the 19th century, numerous documents recorded unusually large skeletons found in ancient burial mounds scattered across North America. However, most media outlets afterward did not mention ancient giants or these discoveries. Giants have always been associated with fascinating stories and controversies. Did they truly exist, or are they merely products of imagination? Join Shadow_Archives in exploring the truth about giants to answer this question. In August 2016, a YouTuber posted a clip interviewing a food supplier for the military. Identified only as Mr. K, he claimed to have witnessed the killing of a murderer, whom he called the Kandahar Giant. The confrontation occurred at the peak of Operation Enduring Freedom in 2002, when the military was fiercely fighting the Taliban in Kandahar province. According to Mr. K, the Kandahar Giant was nearly 4 meters tall, had slightly red hair, 6 fingers, and 2 sets of teeth. He killed a Special Forces soldier with a spear, before being gunned down by the others with machine guns. After reporting, the military took the monster's body away and covered up the incident since then. The incident occurred in 2002, when a group of soldiers went missing while patrolling in the mountainous region of Kandahar, southern Afghanistan. With radio contact lost, the military immediately dispatched a Special Forces team to investigate. Upon reaching the mountain, they found military equipment scattered around a cave, but no trace of the missing soldiers. That was also when they encountered the Kandahar Giant. This human-like creature was very tall, its body emitting a smell like a corpse. Suddenly emerged from the cave and stabbed a soldier with a long spear. The team immediately opened fire, taking down the giant after 30 seconds of continuous shooting. After killing the strange creature, they loaded the body onto a helicopter and transported it to an unknown location. The giant weighed about 500 kilograms, and the group transported the body from there to the United States. The giant wore a tarp or animal hide to protect its feet, similar to a type of moccasin. If a giant could live hidden for many years in an Afghan cave without being detected, we must think that this is not the only individual on the planet. In December 2015, archaeologists were extremely surprised to discover a human skeleton of gigantic size in Varna, Bulgaria. This was once the ancient Greek city of Odessos. Initially, they only unearthed a small jar from the 5th century and an ancient painting. After digging deeper, experts discovered a giant human skeleton lying in a position with both hands placed on the waist and the head facing east. According to research, this skeleton is 10 times larger than the sacrum of an adult human. In 1947, physicist Bruce Russell announced that he and his colleagues had found a series of giant caves and tunnels in Death Valley, USA. There, they also discovered many giant skeletons with an average height of over 2.7 meters. It is speculated that these remains are linked to the civilization of Atlantis, believed to have disappeared long ago. In March 2012, a photo of a giant finger 0.4 meters long posted on social media caused a public stir. According to investigations, this specimen was found in Egypt in 1960 and photographed by photographer Grigor Sopri in 1988. He paid $300 to a grave robber to photograph this giant finger. Additionally, to prove it was genuine, the grave robber provided an X-ray photo proving it was a human finger, not an artificial product. The Egyptian giant has appeared in folk rumors and was mentioned in the history of the Jaywings War with the following description. They are giants, they are huge and very different from ordinary people. Therefore, we have grounds to believe that the finger found could be true but has not been accurately proven and investigated. In 2016, archaeologists unexpectedly discovered a set of remains with an abnormal height compared to the average height and size of ancient people. It is known that the excavation was carried out in a village dating from the late Neolithic period, near Jinan City, Shandong Province, China. The skeletons here have heights of over 2 meters. Scientists say this is only an estimate based on the bone structure, not an exact figure. For living entities, the height of the owners of the exceed 2.2 meters. More than a century ago, on May 4, 1912, archaeologists from Beloit College unexpectedly excavated 18 giant skeletons in the Lake Delavan area, Wisconsin, USA, buried under coal and clay. Because their size was too enormous compared to normal people, these skeletons became a topic of public discussion and also caused controversy in the scientific community at that time. Many hypotheses suggest that this is solid evidence proving the existence of giants is real. But other opinions assert that they are the remains of aliens who once set foot on Earth. According to descriptions, these remains have eye sockets and nasal bones higher than the cheekbones, and the jawbone has similarities with apes. It is known that this is not the first time giant human skeletons have been discovered in the Wisconsin region. Because before that, in 1891, scientists from the Smithsonian Institution found a giant skeleton over 2 meters long in the ancient city of Aztalan near Madison, Wisconsin. In 1911, 2 miners named David Hurt and James Pott discovered many ancient remains in Lovelock Cave, Nevada, USA. They quickly contacted scientist Alfred Kroeber, who was working at the University of California at the time. This was the first clue that served as a premise for subsequent excavations. It is known that scientists found about 60 sets of remains over 3 meters long, along with many weapons, tools, a pair of sandals about 38 centimeters long, and a giant handprint on the cave wall. The remains they found are believed to belong to the indigenous anti-American tribe called the Paiutes who lived here thousands of years ago. Most recently, giant skeletons in a cave on the remote island of Pulau Opet off the coast of Malacca State in Malaysia have again startled public opinion. Malaysian historian Mofrau Kasari Seth said that the large remains from 3 to 5 meters previously in Malaysia had similar large tombs of King Afrifan and 7 warrior brothers in Pulau Besar, Johor State. But they were not allowed to be excavated, so this remains an unsolved mystery. The chairman of the Malaysian Historical and Patriotic Research Association, Dr. Mofrau Mir Mokman, said that there are many such large tombs in Malaysia. In addition, giant tombs were also found in Skayeni and the Busigi Mountains, Romania. When villagers in Skayeni dug the soil to plant an apple orchard, they were surprised to discover skeletons as large as 2.4 meters along with pottery fragments, jewelry, and strange metal statues about 1 meter high. Archaeologists quickly came here to investigate. However, like the previous story, everything disappeared mysteriously without any specific announcement or explanation. The local people seemed pressured and silent when refusing to answer related questions. The incident quickly faded into oblivion. In 1940, in Agadava, Romania, archaeologists conducted excavations of artifacts from the Dacian fortress of Sarmizegetusa, where King Burebista of the Dacian people ruled. The participants also included local people. Among them was an elderly man over 80 years old named Ionita Ferreira, who accidentally discovered a giant coffin 3 times the size of a normal person. However, when the archaeological team heard the news, all hired local people were immediately dismissed abruptly. Only the archaeological team remained, continuing to take the rest. They excavated 80 skeletons along with large pottery jars used to store rice, most still intact, and were mysteriously loaded onto trucks and taken away. Where the skeletons were taken and why this discovery was suppressed remains an unanswered question. Is it just a coincidence that almost every culture and religion tells stories of ancient giants wandering the earth? The Sumerian civilization is believed to have begun around 6000 BC, telling of a race of giants who ruled and with many descriptions of them. Sumerian records speak of a giant king named Gilgamesh, who ruled this civilization for 126 years. He has been proven by scholars to be a real historical figure because inscriptions have been found confirming the existence of other characters related to him. In ancient Egypt, there are hundreds of descriptions of giants, and Egyptian records describe the early pharaonic dynasties as a race of tall giants. Hundreds of giant coffins were found, but those mummies had long been looted. This is a remarkable story with the theme. The Egyptian giants of prehistoric times were reported in many famous newspapers. Accordingly, in 1881, when Professor Timerman participated in exploring the ruins of an ancient temple of Isis located on the Nile riverbank 16 miles below Jaffa, he opened a series of tombs and discovered some prehistoric giant races buried there. The smallest skeleton among about 60 examined here had a length of about 2.5 meters and the largest was 3.5 meters. It is believed that the tombs date from 1043 BC. The book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible written in Hebrew and tells us the story of an ancient giant race called the Nephilim. The story of the giant Nephilim is further told in another famous manuscript, the Book of Enoch. The Nephilim, also known as the fallen giants, are the descendants of the sons of God and the daughters of men. There has been much debate about the identity of the sons of God. They are fallen angels who fell in love with mortal women and gave birth to hybrid children. The word Nephilim is based on the word for giant. According to Jewish legend and other traditions, they are a race of giants and superhumans who did evil deeds. Their immense size and strength may originate from a blend of human and demon genes. The Nephilim are not aliens, angels, evil spirits, or monsters trapped in stone. They belong to an actual race born from the union between the sons of God and the daughters of men. It is possible that the Nephilim are descendants of Seth and Cain. The Nephilim ate voraciously, gradually turning to cannibalism because their large bodies allowed them to capture anyone they wanted. This cruelty caused heavy losses that angered God. God sent the angel Gabriel down to incite a civil war among the Nephilim. This caused the remaining Nephilim to destroy each other. We know that these ancient manuscripts describe the Great Flood, a massive deluge that, according to much scientific data, actually occurred. If the biblical flood is real, then are the giant Nephilim also real? A Native American tribe tells of a time when giants once dominated North America, and the brutal wars among them. Accordingly, the tribes had to unite to fight against a group of red-haired giants, cannibals, and battled to exterminate them. The existence of giants could certainly explain some of the massive megalithic structures around the world that still lack explanations for how they were moved. An archaeological team from the German Archaeological Institute found a stone block in a limestone quarry in Alda, Lebanon. This was once considered Heliopolis, the city of the sun during the Roman era. The stone was partially buried underground. The monolith measures 19.6 meters long, 6 meters wide, at least 5.5 meters high, and is estimated to weigh up to 1,650 tons, according to Discovery News. The archaeological team believes the limestone block dates back to at least 27 BC when Baalbek was a Roman colony. This was also when 3 large temples and many smaller ones were built, a process lasting until the 2nd century. The smooth, flat surface of the stone indicates it was transported and used without being cut, the institute stated. Thus, this is the largest known stone from antiquity. However, how these monoliths were transported to the temple site remains a mystery. Some suggest this stone was created by an unidentified civilization even before Alexander the Great, who founded Heliopolis in 334 BC. These are some enormous granite blocks, estimated to weigh over 3,000 tons, twice the weight of the stone in Lebanon. Interestingly, the original names of these stone pillars were giant dance or giant rings, both hinting at something gigantic. The structure is estimated to have been built between 3000 and 2000 BC. The question is how people could move and arrange them so easily. And these are the giant statues on Easter Island, known as moai. The moai range from 4 to 20 meters in height and weigh from tens to hundreds of tons. There are nearly 1,000 moai scattered across the island. Most were carved from an extinct volcano crater on the east side. In the crater, traces remain of hundreds of statues being carved or completed but not yet moved. Among them is a statue being carved as tall as a 5-story building, weighing up to 210 tons. From this crater, these super heavy statues were transported across the island, placed on even more massive stone platforms called ahu. These platforms are assembled from stones weighing tens of tons. The smallest platform is made from 300 stone layers. The largest platform is ahu tongariki, weighing up to 9,000 tons. The question is, who had the ability to move them? The answer from most scientists is that there once existed a civilization more advanced than ours, or a race strong enough to do it easily. Giants also appear in Sumerian, Greek, and Roman mythology, Indian, Norse, and even Japanese Shinto folklore. In fact, there is a video recording an old military parade of the Japanese Empire. In it, the Japanese proudly display this giant and parade him alongside imperial soldiers. It is said this giant is the last member of a giant tribe named Cha-Cha, living on an island called Ha-Ha-Sama. In the 1500s, when Spanish sailors explored the American coast, people have also cited images of living giants. 3 Spanish ship captains reported on indigenous people of exceptional height during their American expedition. This is what Captain Joe Smith wrote about them. Sask-Sahanos is a giant human-like creature. They measured the calf of the largest man and found it to be about 3/4 of a yard, or approximately 0.7 meters. All his other limbs were proportionally sized to that calf. In 1519, Spanish explorer Alonso Alvarez de Pineda mapped the Gulf Coast. He marked rivers, bays, landmarks, and other potential ports. Not far from where the river empties into the Gulf of Mexico, he found a large town and about 40 nearby indigenous villages. He described seeing many giants living in this village. Strangely, a race of giants was also residing there. Perhaps the most fascinating and widely known story about giants involves the great Portuguese explorer, Ferdinand Magellan. Between 1519 and 1522, Magellan embarked on his most famous voyage. The daring expedition aimed to find a route to the Maluku Islands in the East Indies, and ultimately led to the first successful circumnavigation of the Earth. Magellan was given command of 5 ships, and one leg of the journey took them across the Atlantic, all the way to the land of Patagonia at the southern tip of South America. There, the expedition witnessed a rather strange sight. Here is an excerpt from the diary of the official chronicler of Magellan's voyage. Leaving there, we finally reached the position of 49.5 degrees south latitude, very close to Antarctica. It was winter then, and the ships entered a safe harbor to winter over. We spent 2 months there. One day, we suddenly saw a giant man, naked on the harbor shore, dancing and singing. He then led other giants to a small island in front of the captain. He was so tall that we only reached his waist, and his body was very well proportioned. It is important to note that the above story is taken from the journal of the official chronicler of Magellan's exploratory journey. This narrator was also the only one tasked with recording and preserving the most accurate records of the events and activities of the expedition. This person was responsible not only to the expedition commander but also to the king and the country. Additionally, there are accounts from other members of the expedition, all confirming that the events of the journey were true. Many years later, in 1539, there is also the account of Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto. He led the first European expedition deep into the territory of present-day United States, and was the first European recorded to have crossed the Mississippi River. De Soto set out from Spain with hundreds of people, and during the journey, they were said to frequently encounter indigenous tribes ruled by giants. One of these was Chief Tuscaloosa, met in western Alabama, and a giant himself. Furthermore, there are reports from the Spanish conquistador and explorer Hernando de Alarcon, who was trying to find a river that could be used to supply Spanish troops along the coast of California and Mexico. Eventually, Alarcon traveled up the Colorado River all the way to the Grand Canyon. And during this journey, he and his companions encountered a tribe of about 200 giant warriors up to 2.5 meters tall. The giants were said to be very fierce, but Alarcon appeased them with gifts and peaceful gestures. Conquistador Francisco Coronado also recounted meeting a tribe of giants during his search across the American Southwest for the legendary El Dorado. In some cases, scientists have also found physical evidence of these giants, as in the case of Conquistador Bernal Díaz del Castillo during the Spanish conquest of Mexico. In his detailed records of the conquest and subsequent fall of the Aztec Empire, there is a strange document about a race of giants that the native Indians claimed once lived in the area. Later, the tribal chief provided 2 skeletons of these mysterious giants as evidence. In it, Castillo writes, for the giants in that land. There have been many reports of actual giant sightings across North and South America during the Age of Exploration. These stories entered history but were later largely forgotten. However, some things cannot be forgotten because they were literally recorded in stone. Such is the case of the giant footprint in South Africa. This is the most impressive footprint in stone of its kind, unmatched anywhere on Earth. It was discovered in 1931 by a farmer named Stoffel Coetzee. To this day, it remains one of the most controversial sites in archaeology and geological research. The footprint is about 1.3 meters long. This suggests the creature that left it must have been 7 to 8 meters tall. The footprint is called the footprint of a god or Goliath's footprint by locals, and stories of ancient giants are told throughout the region. Considering all the documented discoveries along with the historical records mentioned, it is possible that giants truly existed. Many have noticed a strange circle running around the Earth. Passing through Easter Island, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, the Angkor Wat complex in Cambodia, the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan, the lost city of Petra in Jordan, and the Nazca Plateau in Peru. So far, no one has been able to explain the meaning of this circle. However, a common point is that all the sites on this circle are colossal structures. Some exhibiting extremely high construction techniques, surpassing modern human understanding. Could an advanced civilization of giants have once existed? We know that there were once giant reptiles, giant birds, giant fish, and even giant plants on Earth. So believing that giants once existed also has a basis. So, in your opinion, did giants truly exist on Earth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching the video until the end. Now, goodbye and see you in the next videos.